Hello, students. Today we are going to take a lesson from Moments, Chapter 6 Weathering the Storm in Irsama by Harsh Mander. Now, something about the author. Harsh Mander was born in Shillong in the year 1955. He is a writer and social worker. He has worked as an IAS in the states of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh for almost 2 decades. He is associated with social causes and movements such as communal harmony, Dalit, tribal, and disability rights, the right to information, homeless people, custodial justice, and bonded labor. He writes regularly on issues of social justice. He was awarded the Rajiv Gandhi National Sadbhavna Award for Peace Work and the M.A. Thomas National Human Rights Award. As you all know that natural disasters are extreme sudden events caused by environmental factors that injure people and damage property. Earthquakes, windstorms, floods and disease all strike anywhere on earth often without warning. Similarly, in some parts of our country, such natural disasters happen more often. For instance, the eastern part of our country faces floods and cyclone. So, such was the case on October 29th, 1999. A super cyclone slammed into Odisha, then known as Orissa. Everyone knew that the cyclone is coming, but nobody knew how bad it was going to be. The super cyclone caused a great destruction all around. Winds began to blow at the speed of 350 kilometers per hour. Heavy and continuous rain poured in. Huge old trees were uprooted. Houses were washed away. A large number of them were swept away. All round there were dead bodies of human beings and animals. There were hardly any sign of life. Weathering the storm in Irsama is a description of the brave acts of courageous boy named Prashant. On 27th October 1999, 7 years after his mother's death, Prashant had gone to his friend's house in Irsama. In the evening, a dark storm hit the coastal Orissa. It changed into a super cyclone. There was destruction all around. Prashant's friend's house immersed in the water. They were compelled to shift on the roof. They had to spend 2 days there. Two coconut trees had fallen on the roof, which saved them from starving. They froze in cold and continuous rain. Prashant wondered if his family had survived in this super cyclone. On the third day, although everyone tried to stop Prashant to stay for a few more days as the situation had not fully settled, but he was determined to move ahead. Using a stick to guide him, he walked through the water to his village. It was 18 kilometers away from there. There was water everywhere. The stick helped him recognize the road and where the water was shallow. At several points, he lost the road and had to swim. After some distance, he was relieved to find two friends of his uncle who were also returning to their village. They decided to move ahead together. He had to wade through his waist deep water. On the way, he saw dead bodies of animals and human beings floating. In every village that they passed, they could barely see a house standing. Prashant now wept out loud and long. He was sure that his family could not have survived this cyclone. When Prashant reached his village, Kalikuda, he was numb. Nothing was as it used to be. Everything was swept away. His heart ached to see his family. He decided to go to the Red Cross shelter. It was a miracle that he found his extended family there. But the next morning, when he saw the situation, he decided to take charge. He saw that almost 96 houses had been washed away and 86 lives were lost in the village. Prashant was a 19-year-old young man. He saw destruction all around him but did not lose courage. He and the other volunteers cleaned the shelter of dirt and dead bodies of animals. On the fifth day, a military helicopter flew over the shelter and dropped some food parcels. But it didn't return. The group deputed the children to lie there. They had the empty utensils on their stomachs. It was to communicate to the passing helicopter that they were hungry. Finally, they got food through airdropping. Prashant saw that a large number of children had become orphans. He brought them together and put up a polythene sheet shelter for them. He also organized games like cricket for them. Women were requested to take care of these children. He created a hope in them. As the weeks passed, Prashant was quick to recognize that the women and children were sinking deeper and deeper in their grief. He could not tolerate it, so he decided to get them engaged. He persuaded the women to work in the Food for Work program started by an NGO. He made special arrangements for the children to keep them busy. He and the other volunteers resisted the government plan to set up institutions for orphans and widows. The group of volunteers was of the opinion that in these institutions, children would not be able to get love and widows would suffer stigma and loneliness and isolation. So, the group decided to rehabilitate them in their own community. New families were made, and the childless widows would care for the orphans. Even after months of devastating cyclone, people still seek Prashant's help in their days of grief. Thus, through this lesson, the author wants to convey the message that whenever a natural calamity strikes, the members of the community should help themselves. They should not be totally dependent upon the government to provide help. It also gives the message that the youth have a major role to play in organizing the community to help themselves.